game. Korea against China, both undefeated so far. It's going to be a really interesting matchup, and of course one of these teams will put a loss up on the boards after this game. My name is Sander Olvak. I'm joined by Hans Fronlob.
And let's look at the standings after the fourth session of the women's event here at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships. China is on top, tied with Korea at 3-0. That's our feature matchup today. Host nation Japan is at 2-2. Australia and New Zealand still looking for their first wins. So it's a battle of the unbeatens here live on World Curling Television. And let's meet Team Korea. Playing at lead today is Youngmi Kim. Playing at second stone is Sun Young Kim. The third stone is Kyung-ai Kim, and skipping today for Korea is Un-young Kim. The alternate is Min-young Kim, and the team coach is Patty Wuthrich.
We're going to have a look at the lineup for China as well. Wang Rei as lead, Yu Jina as second, Liu Jinli at third, and Lu Siya at skip. Alternate Mei Yi and team coach Zhang Wei. And we're just about to kick off here. Both teams having a bit of a practice line as we see the logo for this magnificent curling facility and the stone colors. Korea will have the hammer, which is predetermined, also playing the red stones. China will be playing the yellow. There's more than one game out there today, and we will keep you updated on the scores from the other games. A few games from the men's draw as well as the women's draw.
Good luck and good curling.
Now, what do you make of this game, Hans?
Well, both of these teams have been really impressive in the early going in the Pacific Asia Curling Championship, Sander. So they're both technically really sound, both strategically really sound. Both teams are unafraid to be aggressive to try and generate some offense, so I think we're in for a pretty exciting contest. I really wouldn't want to pick it. There's really not much between these two teams, so should be really interesting to see how they play the early ends.
Well, we've seen a few of the women's teams they're playing a bit defensive to start off with. And when we had some men's games yesterday, we saw them really firing out the hack with throwing center guards and corner guards. It seems to be a little bit of a difference there.
That's definitely right. The women are choosing to play the first couple of ends a little bit more conservatively, and that could help with their time management as well. You know, of course, this is the last event, international event, that's being played under the soon-to-be old rules of curling, so the time clocks that you'll see behind the Chinese skip, Lu Xia, each team has 73 minutes of running time to play all of their shots. So by being a bit conservative in the early ends, they can bank a bit of time. Later in the game, when they need more time to consider their options, they've got time in the bank. Nice stone there. Trying to roll to the wings. Just biting the 12. Korea trying to take the play out to the side of the house. That's about as far to the side of the house as you can have it. Trying to hold the line. Well swept. Korean skip. Un-young Kim holding the broom for her teammate. Looking to remove that Chinese stone. Here's Sun Young Kim, Korean second. Rolls out of the rings. This is a very young Korean team from the Gyeongbuk Curling Club in Korea. 3 of the team members, Kyung-ai Kim, Sun Young Kim, and Youngmi Kim, were silver medalists at the 2014 World Junior Curling Championships. This is a step up for them, though. Skip Eun Young Kim has never competed at world level, so this Korean team will be trying their very best to finish in the top 2 at this event and qualify for the Women's Worlds that will be coming up later this year, or actually early next year, in Sapporo, Japan.
Yeah, I think the main difference between the skips in this game is Lucia from China has participated at a lot of world championships. She's been at the World Mixed Doubles, World Curling Championships, the Winter University Games, as well as Pacific Juniors and Pacific Championships. So she's a bit more experienced, and she's played a lot of different teams, a lot of different nations, and surely that's going to help her a little bit, I think. She's been doing some great shot making as well.
Nice shot there. So the teams are just trading shot for shot here in the first end. Getting a feel for the ice. Ice conditions here are excellent. Head ice technician Joe Fritz from Germany commented to me that he's never worked with such a professional local ice crew as here in Japan. And if Sandra mentioned in the opening this magnificent facility at the Ice Park Curling Hall here in Karuizawa, Japan.
Yeah.
Not too much of an overstatement to say this is among the best dedicated curling facility in the world for a curling club.
From what I hear, certainly is really purpose-built. They can control everything. So they haven't really had a lot of problems, even if it has been a bit humid and rainy outside.
Well swept. Certainly not rainy today. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Japan. Crisp November day.
Just saw Kyung-ai Kim, green ice skip, make that nose hit, and I'll probably see the same from Lu Jun Lee. Just a nice control wee here. And we'll stick around. Or maybe not.
Well swept by the Korean skip.
Lively stones.
Bit of a brief look there. She was considering perhaps using it to try and sit a stone in front of it to try and generate a 2, but took a quite brief look at it, so not really a factor, I don't think.
Well, she has placed her broom on the center line here, so she is drawing to the side. Not sure if she's just looking to draw the wing here or want to freeze onto it.
She'll definitely be trying to use it to her advantage. At least bring the possibility of a jam into play. They are sweeping for a freeze.
Well, this is looking pretty good.
So it's nudged the Chinese stone back. It's still in play, but unfortunately now it will move off the rings. So the attempted freeze, good thought there, but it's not going to be a scoring point if the Chinese hit it. High fives. This Chinese team is from the Harbin Curling Club. Harbin's a city in the north of China. Internationally known for their ice festival. They have magnificent ice carvings. So it's probably making the best of a situation when you live in a really cold place. You can enjoy it and celebrate it. And the Harbin Festival is renowned internationally for ice sculpting.
Harbin also the host of the Winter University Games in 2011, which here China skip Lucia did participate, 5th place with a 5-4 record.
Here is Lucia.
Remember that Nicholas Edin won the men's event in Harbin.
And he certainly springboarded from that, didn't he? Great shot. So we saw that Eun-Young Kim was trying to use that stone at the back of the house to freeze to try and generate some offense, but now it's a problem for her. Lucia removing that stone. And now this Korean team is going to have to deal with the risk of a jam. There is some separation there. Shouldn't be too much of a problem, but a small annoyance for the Koreans. Both of these teams have been really impressive in the early rounds of this Pacific Asia Curling Championship. Eun-Young Kim.
And don't want to be too cute with this one. Gonna make sure to catch the high side, and she does. Rolls out. It's not going to be too worried with the rolling out there, though. Most important thing, just to remove the Chinese counter. We'll leave Lucia a chance to practice her draw weight, though, early in the game.
Yes, good sensible shot choice there from Eun-Young Kim. You see Lu Jinli holding the broom. You can see her also holding a stopwatch. Many teams will use the stopwatch to gauge the weight of the rock that's coming down the ice towards them and gives them a better read on how much it's going to curl. Playing the intern. Sweepers are communicating the weight.
Seems to be a bit of a misconception there when it comes to sweeping. It's really the skip or vice skip that will call the line, look at the curl, while the sweepers have to judge the weight and tell the skips what the weight of the stone is, so the skip can calculate the line. So if you're a sweeper and you feel that the stone's not moving fast enough, you sweep by your own will.
That's absolutely right, Sander. Key role for the sweepers, they own the weight of the rock. Last stone here in the first end, trying to blank. Over curls and it's a nose hit, so small error there for Korea. They were trying to blank the end, but instead they've nosed the stone. They take one, and Korea takes a 1-0 lead. So China, mission accomplished in the first end. They get the force. Korea goes on the board, 1-0. China will take last rock into the second end.
I've seen this too many times already, Hans. Nose hit in the end of a blank. You just get the feel that maybe it's just try and score two then, and if you're forced to one, you get the same result. But
I think that's a fair comment, Sander. You're right, the teams are choosing a conservative strategy to try and give themselves the opportunity for the blank and then not converting. So you're right, another choice would be to be more aggressive with the hammer and go for it. We can see here that we've got 5 games in action at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships. We'll keep you updated during this game with the results on the other games. Just running across them now for you. We have the men's event and the women's event. On sheet E this morning in the men's event, we've got Kazakhstan versus Korea. On sheet C in the women's event, a trans-Tasman battle between New Zealand and Australia in the women's event. On sheet B in the men's event this morning, it's Chinese Taipei versus the host country Japan. We saw Japan last evening in our feature game. And on sheet A in the men's event, we have China versus Australia. But this is our feature match. Women's event, Korea versus China. And again, we see a conservative start to the end with play in the house. Wang Rei. Young Mi Kim trying to remove that stone. Job done. Lucia also holding the stopwatch for her lead player. A bit concerned about the line on this one, but no real concern. Nice shot.
Young Kim has a record of 5 wins and 5 losses against China in different international competitions. Chinese skip Lucia has a bit of a better record against Korea. She has 9 wins, 2 losses. So has a good record against the Korean teams.
China, of course, had a really strong record in the women's events in recent years. Olympic Games appearances, medals at Women's World Curling Championships. And this Chinese team is trying to carry that tradition on. We mentioned that the Women's World Championships are going to be in Sapporo, Japan this year. The host nation, Japan, will automatically have a place in that event. So regardless of the finish of the Japanese women's team here at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships, there will be a Japanese team in Sapporo. If the Japanese women finish in the top 2 in this event, the other team in the top 2 would be the Pacific Asia representative at the Women's Worlds. If the Japanese women's team finishes outside the top 2, however, then the gold medalist would be the other representative from this region. Empty house here in the second end. Early in the game. Korea with last rock.
Korea has been catching on as a curling nation. They won their first Pacific Championship in 2001, actually. A period where Japan was winning pretty much all the events. They won 13 goals over 14 years between 91 and 2005. But recently, Korea has also won the Pacifics in 2010 and also last year. So
they're definitely becoming a threat on the international scene. Big effort from the Koreans in investing in their players and developing at the elite level. Of course, the 2018 Winter Olympics will be in Korea, in Pyeongchang. So that effort's only going to intensify, I think, over the next 4 years as the Korean teams prepare to welcome the world to Pyeongchang.
China, of course, also spoiled with gold medals at the Pacifics, with Binyu Wang picking up 6 gold medals between 2006 and 2012, so really dominating the Pacifics for quite some time. But there's a new Chinese team on the ice for this occasion.
And I think that's really important for the development of the sport in any country, Sander, that there's a rejuvenation of the teams at the top level. We've mentioned that some of these players have had success at World Junior level, bringing that talent and youthful perspective into the teams and giving them national team exposure becomes really important. And in a small team sport like curling, where there's 4 players in a team, getting the team dynamics right is really important. And team changes, even a single person can really affect the performance of a team, but this Chinese team and this Korean team are both looking really promising.
Being fairly careful though so far. Not many stones in play. And it's been a bit of a cautious opening for a lot of the other games out there. In the men's draw, China playing Australia. They blanked the first end. And so did Kazakhstan against Korea in the men's game, blank end. Morzumi, skip of Japan, had a shot for a possible 3 against Chinese Taipei, but was only able to pick up the 1. So they lead them 1-0 after one end. And in the other and second women's game of this morning, we have quite the interesting matchup. New Zealand is playing Australia, where Australia picked up 2 in the first end. But right now, though, New Zealand looking to draw to lie 3 late in the end, so that could all change very quickly.
And we welcome your questions or comments from wherever you're listening in the world today. We know we've got fans of the countries that are participating in this event online and following us. Also had a nice comment today. I posted a picture up from this venue and had a comment from really legendary women's curler Elizabeth Gustafsson from Sweden, who has very happy memories of Karuizawa. Of course, she won a bronze medal here in the 1998 Winter Olympics. And she was, I believe, a 3-time world champion. And so an incredible curler. So many curlers have got very happy memories of Karuizawa. And curlers the world over should really appreciate this town, because this is really where it all started again on the Olympic program. China lying 1. So a very cautious start here. Neither team really getting too aggressive or mixing it up yet. I expect that will change. Young Kim trying to hit and stick.
Well, as has been touched on a few times, with them running the stones down through the first couple of ends, they will have a bit more time on the clock. But if I was them, I'd maybe be interested in practicing playing quickly, perhaps.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is a time management strategy or if it's just the way that they approach the early ends of the game, Sander, but I agree it would be interesting to see them mixing it up a bit earlier in the game. If for no other reason, then you don't really want to develop a reputation of being predictable in the way that you approach a game, and all of these teams have got scouts and they're analyzing video, And so if you know that your opponent is always going to open the game a certain way, then you can prepare for that. So
Yeah.
here's the attempted blank from Chinese skip Lucy Ya, looking to remove the Korean stone and roll out herself if she can. Does not want to score, but no, nicely done. So Lucia executes where her competitor Eunyoung Kim did not in the previous end. China blanks the end. They keep the hammer. Korea won. China no score, but China carries the hammer into the third end of play. So nice job there by Lucia blanking the end. And let's see what they'll do with the hammer in the third.
Well, as some people have asked about the time, we are using playing time, running time, and not thinking time, which will be introduced for the European Championships. So when running stones down like this, you do save time with the old format, but that's not going to work when we go over to thinking time. So somehow they're actually fooling themselves a little bit, playing this way, allowing them a lot more time to play the remaining ends, but that's not going to be the case when they'll get to the World Championships, if they do so. So again, I might be a fan of maybe getting some stones in play, because when these teams will meet up against Canada and Sweden, all these aggressive teams, and they might have a problem with time management.
That's a very good point, Sander. And this is, as we mentioned, the final competition internationally being played under the old WCF rules. So you're absolutely right. All of these teams will have to readjust, as will all of the European and North American teams, to the new mode of thinking time. The rationale for that change, of course, is that attacking shots, draw shots, do take longer to actually get down the ice. But, and we do want to keep play moving in curling, and so the reason that we have time clocks and limited time to play the game is so that players aren't standing around forever analyzing shots. But you don't want to penalize a team for favoring a draw attacking type strategy versus a hitting type strategy just for the name of time management. So the switch to thinking time is to really level the playing field for teams regardless of the way that they choose to attack the game. If they're a draw team, if they're a hitting team, doesn't really matter. The thinking time is the time that's clocked. So the amount of time that you actually analyze between shots is what's measured, as opposed to the time it takes for the shot to go down the ice. So it'll be quite interesting to see how these teams actually adjust to that.
Well, now it seems like Korea has shifted. We're looking for the center guard now. Maybe not, maybe just sick and tired of Team China playing the hits and now wanting to force the issue. Well, that's good for the game.
Yeah, it's the first shifting of the gears, and somebody has to make the first move, and in this case the Koreans elected to take the first move, and perhaps sensing that the Chinese might be trying to set up corner guards this end, decided to get in there first with a guard of their own. Chinese are immediately trying to use it. They're attempting to draw around the center guard. Really nice shot by Wang Rei.
If anything, a foot deep. Does allow some room to come around and freeze onto it. But important enough, she kept it in front of the D-line. So might see some stones in play then on this end.
It is game on here in the third end. Young-mi Kim, or Sun Young Kim, excuse me. Attempting to follow that one down.
Well, if China was looking to blank this in as well, they actually could have drawn to the wing. We saw them do that a few times yesterday, and I don't think Korea would have ignored that shot. But I'm really happy to see them play the aggressive shot. And it's followed up by a really nice freeze. Perfect shot.
Great shot.
And Lucia does recognize that, so she's just going to ask for a peel on the center guard. Don't want to get too fancy here.
Really nice execution. You do see it sometimes that teams will just go up and down first two ends of the game and then shift gears for offense, and that looks like what's happened here.
Yu Shin-rei with the peel of the center guard. Actually playing a control way here, so looking to roll to a corner guard. That's a really well executed shot.
That's every shot having a purpose, and so China recognized that they wanted to move that guard off the center line, but by rolling to the side, they've got a corner guard that they can use later in the end. Really good execution. Kim.
Well, that's not going to curl up, and stones in the forfeit are fully exposed. So probably see Team China come down here with just a back ring weight, just to free up the red stone. Don't want to remove their own yellow. So with the shot, they're probably going to leave red sitting shots. Although that seems to be a lot of ice for a tap back, maybe just freezing. Although a very soft handle, so.
China does have last rock here in the third, so the big question is, are they trying to set up a situation to try and get more than one?
Yeah.
Or are they trying to protect their one? I suspect they're trying to generate more than one.
Very soft release and handle on the rock there from Yushin Rei.
So we see that stone curl past the target rocks and slide to the back of the 8-foot.
Curled a good 5.5 feet there, and I don't think you see a lot of players will curl that much on the ice. It's been curling about 4 feet, a bit less for some players.
Yep, the ice has been quite consistent, although in the early ends we've seen some teams slightly fooled where it wasn't seeming to move as much as they thought it was going to move. But you're absolutely right, Sander, that one moved a good 5 feet. Players won't mind that. Most teams favor a lot of curl with late finish, gives them a lot more shot options. Hyung-Ai Kim, Korean third. Hard work from the Korean brushers trying to hold the line. They really get by the guard. And they spring their shooter to the wing, rolling it in front of the Chinese stone. And Korea line 2. So great work there from the Korean brushers holding the line. Removing the Chinese shooter. Hyung-Ai Kim accepting the congratulations of her teammates. Yoo-Jin Lee trying to make a double takeout. This one needs to curl.
Does get a bit of a movement towards the left of our screen, but could quite possibly be a double here for Team Korea. Slash it over the nose of the back one.
This Eun-Young Kim lining them up, so she's certainly thinking double takeout. For those of you new to curling, double takeout is one stone removing 2 of your opponent's stones. You see the 2 Chinese stones. Korea would love to remove both of them with this shot.
She's got excellent technique, this girl. Really good slides, been watching her. Just straight like an arrow.
The line is crucial.
Just over curls a fraction. And jams it.
Great attempt there. Almost made the double. Usually on shots like that, there's 2 ways to make it. You can go across the face of the back stone, or you can go and try to clip the other stone. And when you're calling the sweeping line, you have to make a choice pretty early on which way you're going to go. That one was kind of caught in the middle. jam the stone in the back.
Just curls enough to avoid the jam, but does not get the inside roll, so should be a decent chance for Korean skip Eun Kim to make a double here. Just off nose should do it, and they'll be lying too.
China with the last rock, so Korea is trying to force them to take one. Kyung-Hye Kim holding the brush for her skip. Kyung-Hye skipped the Koreans to a silver in the World Junior Championships in 2014. Here is Eun Kim trying the double takeout. There's 1, 2, goes across the high side. Will it go out of the rings? Great job there by the Korean third to jump on that one, roll it out of the rings. Nice shot.
Maybe slightly fortuitous, but that's...
Well, we talked the shot before. There's 2 ways to make a double takeout. You can either clip it on the high side or you can go across the face.
There's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say, in Scotland, anyway.
Indeed. But you're right, by hitting the stone where she did, she lost her shot rock. So it does make it a little bit easier for China.
Now my question is she drawing here to try and set up the deuce, or is she actually trying to run back?
Difficult to say for sure. It looks to me like she's going to be trying the draw. It would be a pretty ambitious run back. That's about 8 feet of separation between the stones. So I'd say she's trying to draw around that red center guard.
Yep. I'll be interested to see if she will catch as much curl as her second player. Taking just outside of the edge of the 8 foot for this draw.
Sweepers are brushing it now, trying to finish it behind that guard.
This is looking really good.
Really nice shot there from Lucia. China's lying 1. They've got the hammer here on end number 3. Trailing 1-0.
That's pretty much a perfect draw. She kept us as high in the house as possible and still lying shot, which does not allow much room for Eun Kim to come around and tap it back.
We can see there it's almost perfectly buried. And as you said, Sander, if they would have swept it deeper in the house with that red guard being so long, it would have made it possible for Korea to access it, but the stone placement is just about perfect. Full in the 8 foot, had to be full in the 8 foot to be shot, but far enough forward in the house to take full advantage of that guard. Great shot.
So I think she will see about 1% of that yellow, so if she does squeak past the guard, it should be enough finish on the rocks to tap it out, but this is a precision shot. Really has to bring the weight down here to control the line with the sweepers. Cannot overthrow it.
Young-Mi Kim and Sun Young Kim are the sweepers, and they're really working this one.
Maybe a bit too much.
Maybe a bit of a panic sweep there, plenty of weight. Young Young Kim trying to sweep that Chinese stone out of the house, but sweeps it into the 12 foot.
It might be good enough though, because the R-line shot in behind a corner guard, you can't really see it on the screen just now, but there is a yellow corner guard in front. So this red stone is perfectly buried, I believe.
Pretty good result there for Eun Young Kim. She's hoping to push that Chinese stone out of the rings and lie 1-2. She's lying first and third shot instead. But as Sandarovic pointed out, their shot rock is well protected by that corner guard.
Well, she is going for it, so...
She can see a piece. Maybe an 1/8 of the rock.
And the good thing for her, she doesn't have to move it very far to score
right.
2. So almost throwing just draw weight here, and then relying on her sweepers to glide the extra 4 feet to push it out of the 8 foot.
Lucia discussing the weight that she wants to throw with her sweepers. Chance here for China to score 2. Tough shot.
Definitely not scared, this girl. Last shot of the 3rd end. Trailing by 1, Team China. Looking to score 2 with this delicate little tap. And there we go, past the guard.
Great job by the sweepers.
And will it stick around for 2? Yep.
Wow. Nice execution there from the Chinese. A great team shot. Fantastic sweeping from Wang Rei and Yushin Rei. Holding the line, getting it by that corner guard. China scores 2. So after 3 ends of play, it's China 2, Korea 1. Really nice touch shown by both teams in that end, Sander.
Yeah, that's more like it, I'd say.
Absolutely.
Much better curling ends, some really nice shots being played. So there's no real reason for them to play this defensive. They're making the shots, and as I mentioned early on, Chinese skip Lucia has proven to be quite the shot maker so far, and she's really pulling out the big guns.
That was a really nice shot.
So all the more reason for us to want to see more stones in play.
Indeed, it's quite entertaining. You're watching live coverage from the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2014 in Karuizawa, Japan. Let's quickly update some of the scores and the other action that we've going on here on day 3. In the men's game on sheet E, Kazakhstan versus Korea. Korea took a big 5-point end on the 2nd end. They lead that one 5-0. On sheet C in the women's event, Australia versus New Zealand. They've traded 2s. After 3 ends of play, they're playing in the 4th. They're level at 2. On sheet B, Chinese Taipei versus Japan. Bit of a shout out today. Chinese Taipei skip Randy Shen, 44 years old today. Happy birthday, Randy. They're locked up at 1-1 after 2 ends of play. And on sheet A, China versus Australia. Very defensive looking game there. After 3 ends of play, China leads at 1-0. So we'll keep you updated through this game, but we return to our feature game here in the women's event. Unbeatens, Korea versus China. Nice 2-point end there from the Chinese in the 3rd end. They lead at 2-1. We're playing in end number 4.
Now we're seeing a bit more of a normal curling setup play from the leads. Top 4, and then the corner guard, and now the center. So I guess it's somehow it's like chess, certain classic openings, and then everything from the 2nd stones on is fairly unique.
Some people do compare curling to chess on ice. Many people that are watching the game for the first time, when they see teams throwing stones in front of the rings, question that. Why don't you try and put it in the ring so you can score? But of course, the purpose of the guard stones is to provide protection for yourself later in the end. Stones curl around those guards. They offer protection, and it's how you generate big ends.
Yeah, so actually throwing guards is the aggressive call, while throwing stones in the house is considered a defensive call, which might be a little confusing with it being called a guard. But the more guards you throw, the more aggressive you're playing.
Yes, you're definitely setting the table for the buffet that follows. Are they by just clipping the guard?
Yeah, that's not a good result. Not really moving the guard over. And sitting like a dead duck in the open water. So China probably looking to hit this red one and roll underneath the center guard.
Little duck hunting, perhaps.
Might want to bring the weight down here to roll low. You might make contact with your own yellow stone here. Perfect shot would be maybe to actually drag the other yellow along further in behind the center guard.
Great
Which they almost made. That's a really nice shot. And Korea might be bailing out now, making the double if it's possible.
China lying two. There we see that center guard is offering a little bit of protection, so there's no double on the inside of those stones, definitely. Could make a double on the outside, but might lose their shot rock. So it looks like they're just looking to rearrange those stones, leave one of their own sitting in front of them.
Yeah, definitely not panicking here. Still want to make some aggressive calls and keep their stones in play.
Korea does have last rock here on the fourth. 10 end contests here at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships.
Oh, this is looking really good. Superb
Well
shot.
played. So Sander mentioned not panicking and trying to keep the play aggressive. That's exactly what Korea have done. Many teams might look at those two Chinese stones and say, we have to eliminate them. The Korean team is saying, we don't mind keeping them around. We can use them ourselves later. Takes real discipline to do that, however.
Yeah, China looking to protect their shot stone here. I think Lucia was pointing to the top of the 12-foot, wanting to come half around the guard, but this one's pulled up a bit short. Not terrible, though. Good line.
Definitely offering protection.
And I think Eun Young Kim wants to make the double peel on the guards here. The only problem is you might run that second yellow stone closest to the house right down onto your red stone. I'll see what happens here.
We've seen a couple of double takeout attempts with different angles, with different results. Trying to clear space.
Well, that's pretty good, I'd say.
Nice result there.
Does push the yellow one into the house, but has opened up the center.
And Sandra, this is where I think we're seeing the real evolution in women's curling. There used to be, people used to describe the main difference between men's curling and women's curling is men can throw the big weight takeout and women couldn't. That was the stereotype. Well, that is no more. We can see that both of these teams are throwing confidently big takeout weight to make double takeouts, double peels, clears with confidence. And so the stereotype that women's curling is only about draws and soft taps and they can't throw the big weight, that's definitely not true. Women now really play all the shots, the full range of shots, double peels, raises, runbacks, really with really skill and accuracy.
Well, a lot of the women curlers, as well as the men's, are now athletes, so they're in the gym constantly and really looking to improve all aspects of the game.
We can see from the play here, world-class shot making, technically excellent deliveries. Wow, chips her own stone out to the edge of the 8-foot.
Well,
Kyung-Ai Kim. Small bonus there for the Koreans because she at least moved her stone behind corner guards. But let's watch the replay. Raising the Chinese stone back, clips her own. We see that Korean stone move away from the Chinese shot rock over to the edge of the 8-foot. So China's lying one. We see Korea now, that red Korean stone well defended, but it is second shot.
顾球站也比较危险嘛，你一个那啥，人一个旋打不就2分了吗？还能投一个呢？
是，但现在那面不是这个局面对咱有利，再往前站一个呗，要不中间敞开
Jin Lee and Lucy discussing their options.
对，中间敞开了。
Seems like they've opted for another center guard. Still wanting to put some pressure on the Koreans.
力量
3、
刷对角，一刷不他，别往下带了。
Sweeper saying it's about mid-guard weight.
一刷不他，一刷不他。OK。你就怕这样，你一打的话2分了。
Good weight there, but not sure it's completely covered the shot rock. Might have overcurled slightly. So we can see a small port there between the guard and the stone on the top of the 12-foot. Might afford Korea a chance to play a soft shot. Go by the guard, remove the shot rock and roll to the wing.
Yeah, you might see some teams just take the center guard off here, but they're really going for it. And again, tolerance on the shot is clipping the center guard. So if you're going to miss this one, you want to miss it tight. You don't want to be wrecking on the wide stone.
Kyung-Hye Kim, Korean third. By the guard.
Really close. Ah, there we go. Excellent shot. So good.
That is precision shooting there by the Koreans. Great shot there from Kyung-Hye Kim. Navigating past that center guard through the port. Control weight. Makes the shot, rolls over herself behind cover, and Korea lies 2. Great shot making.
I think we're about to see another cool shot, if I might say.
Yeah, we can look at the Chinese. They're looking at the run back.
Not sure if the double is on. You might have to throw some insane weight to make that happen, but you want to run this yellow one back onto the one red and either stick it right in behind or maybe even spill it in behind the center guard for shot rock. Few options with the shot.
Well, we saw with the blank and end number 2 that Lucy can throw that up weight with confidence and accuracy. So we see there is a possibility with that yellow stone being run back. If it was run back on a slight angle, might be able to roll it behind the pile and maybe even make a double takeout.
Always looks very focused, Lucia. Made a good shot so far.
There's one. Oh, just past the target stone. Had to curl a little bit more.
Rips her on at the back. Only 2 stones on the house left now, and they're red, Korean. Didn't really matter. Taking off our back yellow.
So big opportunity here for the Korean team with the hammer here on end number 4. They're lying 2. Skip stones to come for the Koreans. And we can see on the left-hand side of our picture that second Korean shot well defended by the red corner guards. Shot rock is wide open, however. Looks to me like they're going to be trying to come around the center guard on the intern side and draw one in there for third shot.
I'm not sure if they want to be fully buried though, because if they are, China will be able to play a hit on the white redstone and roll underneath. So they might just want to hide maybe just a fraction of the stone behind the center guard. So if China plays that shot, they might use this one and raise it with On Young Kim's second shot.
Korea's in a situation where they can't take everything away, but they will try to take as much away as they can.
Certainly third player, Ki-young Kim, pointing to the top of the 12, but this is
gotta get by the guard.
and really starting to curl.
Well, that wound up being a good result, but not great execution there from the Koreans. They were trying to get around that center guard. They've crashed the center guard. We see the Chinese team looking at that stone. We're trying to decide whether it's on the rings or not. There we see from our overhead. I'd have to say it's not, but it's definitely splittable, so it would be quite easy for the Koreans to hit that stone with a draw weight and roll it onto the rings themselves. But probably more to the point, the Korean shot rock behind it is now well protected by that stone.
It's a bit hard to tell from our angle though. Our camera is directly above the panda.
If you were, yes, that's the mascot of the town of Karuizawa, Karuizawa. We're thinking it's a panda. We're sticking with that. But a big decision here for the Chinese. Korea's got last rock. And they could really, really gamble here and draw around the yellow center guard themselves to try and set up a steal, but that would bring in the risk of dropping 3 or maybe 4. So big choice here for the Chinese, big opportunity for the Koreans.
I do think they're drawing.
So we've talked about the confidence of these elite women's teams, being unafraid to play aggressive shots.
Confidence is so important though.
Well, that's where all the training and the practice and the hard work in tournaments pays off. Korea line 2. Chinese skip. Lucy Ya.
This is a really key shot for the game. If you miss this one, you might give up 4. You don't want to wreck on the red here and tap it into the house. Starting to swing now though.
Hard work from the Chinese brushers. They're past the center guard.
I'm not going to mind bringing this one deep either. Just want to bury it. That's a really nice shot by Lucia.
Wow. Grace under pressure. Facing 2 Korean stones.
And you see Yeon Kim. She's pretty determined here. Looking at the angled run. She's going to run this red stone right down onto the yellow stone just played by Lucia. This is also a top 10 candidate if she makes this one.
Korean skip Eun Kim with her final stone here on the 4th end, lining up the angle raise, trying to drive her stone onto the Chinese shot rock. Difficult shot, but an opportunity here to score 2, maybe 3. Playing the in-turn.
It's got to be close. A bit on and off on the sweepers here.
Have they got the angle?
Definitely contact right on it. Sticks it for 3. Oh,
that's an incredible shot by Eun Kim.
Wow.
World class. Angle raise takeout. Here on the replay, we can see perfect angle. Driving it onto the Chinese stone. Korea scores 3.
That is scrumptious.
Absolutely delectable. High fives all around from the Korean team. That's as good as you'll see. Korea leading this game 4-2 after the 4th end of play. Our feature matchup here on World Curling Television is certainly living up to the advanced billing. Both teams coming here unbeaten. We're seeing great shot making. We saw Chinese skip Lucia make a fantastic draw to the pot, facing 2 stones, and then Eun Kim trumped that with an incredible angle raise.
Yeah, we had a bit of a slow start with the first 2 ends being all stones being run across, but these 2 last ends have just been magnificent, so I hope to see more of the same. Still 6 ends to go. Really like the determination there from Eun Young Kim. As soon as Lucia had played that drop, she was just up there looking at the angled run. There was no question of doing anything else. Goes right up to the hack, plays it perfectly.
Absolutely right. Some teams, after that great come-around draw like that, when they were building up an end, might be deflated and might back away, but you're absolutely right, Sander. Not Eun Young Kim. She said, I can make this. And she did. We'll quickly update the scores from some of the other games here on the third day of play at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships. On sheet E in the men's event, Kazakhstan versus Korea. Korea's leading that one after 4 ends of play, 6-0. On sheet C in the women's event, we've got Australia playing their trans-Tasman neighbors New Zealand. Australia leads that one 5-2. They're in the 5th end of play. On sheet B in the men's event, Chinese Taipei playing the host nation Japan. We mentioned earlier birthday boy Randy Shin. He's looking for a birthday present. Low scoring, pretty defensive game so far, but the Chinese have edged ahead. They're leading that one 2-0 after 4 ends of play.
Yeah, with steals in both the 3rd and 4th end. Australia starting off with the last stone advantage.
But we return to our feature match. Women's event, Korea versus China. After that scintillating 4th end, we're right back at it here in the 5th, Sander.
Yeah, some nice set of play again here from Korean lead Young Mi Kim. Top 4, nice center guard to protect it. And now Wang Rei is looking for the draw round, looking for the freeze. A bit shy on weight here, so gonna wreck on the center guard.
We saw her waving her broom at the corner guard, so she considered ripping the corner guard as well.
I think if you put up a center guard here and China makes a double peel, then you can go and peck off the corner guard. She's trying to do both.
Trying to get the best of both worlds, trying to rip the corner guard and roll it to be a center guard.
Bit of an audacious call, but
totally unafraid.
But I like to see that. It's good. Rolls a bit too far, and it's really just going to leave a corner guard on the other side.
But we talked about the confidence of this Korean team, and most teams would just, trying to eliminate a guard. They're actually trying to hit and roll, trying to place the guard on the center line. Fantastic to see.
Yushin Rei with the run back, trying to pick off a couple of reds. Pretty decent attempt.
Nice shot there.
It does leave the shooter, so there's 3 guards up now. Eun Young Kim got to be a bit careful with our stone placement.
So China in this end just trying to steady the ship. They've just dropped a 3. They're trying to keep calm, build up the end. If they can score a 2 in this end, they draw back on level terms. Korea, on the other hand, after you score a 3, you don't want to let your opponent back in the game. So they're going to be trying their best to hold the Chinese to a maximum 1. In turn. rolling the shooter in front of their own shot rock. Korea lies 2. Rolled a bit further than we'd like to have rolled it, but pretty nice result.
5767，
要不然大一点啊。
OK，
Chinese team looking to go to the attack now, trying to use that center guard that's just off the center line.
5656，
Yu Shenrei.
上楼开力了，不够又擦一下。
并线，
hard 加擦一下。
Hard work from Wang Rei and Lu Jinlei on the brooms. Trying to draw around that guard and into the rings, but may not have the weight. Over curls slightly as well. So that stops shorts of the rings. Chinese, of course, wouldn't have liked to see that. We see Eun-Young Kim looking at the angles.
깰 수가 없어.
There is a possibility that those 2 yellow stones could be run into the Korean rocks now.
괜찮아.
In turn played by Kyung Ai Kim. Great sweeping by the Koreans. Just biting the 12. Opportunity here for the Chinese to throw a double.
I think she was looking for the roll. I think double is a plan B. Question is, might be able to, might be easier to actually draw around the center guard here if she is looking for a cover. This is over curling.
My goodness.
By a big margin.
That one really moved. Seemed to fool the Chinese.
It has been moving a bit more down this path.
We're definitely seeing more curl this morning than we've seen in day 1 and day 2. More finish on the draws. Of course, more finish on the draws also means more finish on the downweight hits.
So 3 reds in the house now. And Korea just looking to put another one at the top of the 12 foot. But again, not sure. Well, maybe actually drawing around the center guard here. Always a bit fooled by the ice, but again, it is curling a bit more, especially down this path. It's been curling about 5 feet.
China with last rock here in the 5th. Korea trying to apply the pressure.
And again, Tae-Young Kim really audible on the line call.
Just behind the tee line.
Yeah, a foot too deep, but really nice line.
I think maybe they were a little bit spooked by how much that Chinese takeout curled. They seemed a bit concerned about the amount of curl and probably overswept that one a little bit. Key shot for the Chinese, facing 4 Korean stones. That has to curl.
Yeah, just not quite getting the finish there of a couple of feet heavy.
Lu Jinlei watches the result of her stone. China's second shot now, but it's definitely accessible for Korea.
Yeah, I think Eun-Young Kim's just going to draw down onto the yellow here. Maybe freeze on it. Inside freeze. She'll be lying too. And it'd be really hard for China to get to any other reds. Might force her to play the in-turn draw. So this could be another key shot for An Young Kim. Remember playing that amazing run back for 3 in the previous end. Maybe being able to set up for a steal here to increase the lead.
A lot of conversation between the Korean players about the weight they want to play on this shot. They are going to the wide part of the sheet, so perhaps it's a part of the sheet that they haven't played so much on, and wondering how much of adjustment they have to make for weight.
Usually the skip won't have as big as a grasp of the weight as the players running up and down the sheet sweeping, so she'll be looking some feedback from her sweepers before throwing the rock. This one hanging a bit wide though.
She's waiting for it to curl.
Well, not a bad result, but does not get second shot.
Yeah, that was curling's a game of millimeters and inches, and that one is probably 2 inches from sensational. As it is, it's pretty good. Korea still lying shot. The ideal result for that shot would be for that stone to be about 2 inches to the right of where it actually came to rest. Still making it difficult for Liu Xia and the Chinese team, however. Korea holds a 4-2 lead. You're watching live coverage from the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2014 here in Karuizawa, Japan at the magnificent Ice Park Curling Hall. And from wherever you're watching us around the world, we're glad you've joined us today. Wei on the brushes.
Oh, this one's all over the guard.
This is light.
Yeah, line not too bad actually. Weight's the biggest problem here. Comes up about 8 feet short. Uncharacteristic mistake from Liu Xia there, and that could prove really costful.
Well, a big opportunity for the Koreans to really consolidate the momentum that they generated in the fourth end with that 3. If An Young Kim can wire another one into the button area behind those guards, she really puts the heat on the Chinese. If the Koreans could steal this end, they'd go to the 5th end break with a really solid lead in this game.
So this is also a bit interesting. Another call could be to come the other way again and tap the other one out, try to sit 6. But she's looking at the shot. She's going to leave Liu Xia. A draw to the 1 foot will be open again, and she'd rather make it impossible for her to score. Steal a 1 or 2 here is really big, so not trying to be too greedy. Just really focus on what shot is left.
Are they by the guard?
I don't think so. But that's still not a bad result. Really blocks off the in-turn path. And
so is there any road to the button for Liu Xia? We see that Korean shot rock at the back of the button. Korea's counting 1. So the attempted come around there a little inside, crashes the guard, but does take away the 4 foot and the button area. So there's a really difficult shot for Liu Xia to draw around on that in-turn side and still have it curl enough to get to the button to score her 1. So the in-turn side looks pretty tough. They're looking at the out-turn, trying to decide, can we somehow squeak one past those guards and feather off this red and perhaps roll in there for R1? Or would we play some kind of weight and somehow try to pick that stone off the back of the button? I don't think the angles are there for that.
I think the straight draw might just be there. You have to squeak past the guard by a millimeter. Another option is to maybe slide off one of the red stones on the right-hand side.
Well, they are electing the outturn side, so they're not going to try that really tough in-turn draw. A couple of potential options here. If she was a little bit wide, that stone at in the 8-foot circle could feather it and move towards the button area. That would probably be more of an accident than something by design, but it is an option. It looks like what they're trying to do is just squeak past that pile of guards just on the center line, have it curl across that red Korean stone and redirect off it into the button area. So here's the final stone for Lucy Yan, end number 5.
Really tough shot here.
And diving this would be an incredibly high degree of difficulty.
It's going to be really tight to the guard. Oh, this one.
Well, they're backing off. They're already crashing onto the guard, so it's a steal of 1 to Korea. Big end for Korea. They consolidate that momentum. Took the 3 in the 4th end, and they steal a point here on end number 5. So as we go to the 5th end break of our feature match here at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships, it's Korea on top, leading this one 5-2. 5th end break. We'll take a short break, and we'll be back with you very shortly.
Можно сразу стартовый состав 3 человека? Нет. Ну как 3 человека? Нет, вот сейчас вот следующая игра будет, можно втроем выйти. Если у вас 2 поломалось? Если будете играть втроем, вы играть не будете. Понятно? А если вдвоем можно играть? С тобой будет играть. У меня ж там, когда вот маленький, у меня ж там внутри, блин, яйца, вот так все, вот так смотри, самый хуёвый. И не кончает. Конечно, а эти вообще ты. Блядь, дураки такие. На них влияет окружающая среда. Забудьте нахуй. Эй, забудь про всех. Представь, я забыл.
So we're back in the Karuizawa Ice Park Curling Hall for the 6th end of our feature game between Korea and China in the women's draw. It's Korea with the 5-2 lead after scoring a big 3 in the 4th and then stealing in that last end before the break. So China is going to really have to push on here. Wang Rei will probably be asked to put up a few corner guards now.
Yeah, the 5th end break came at the right time for the Chinese. They need to stem the tide here. Need to regroup. There's the corner guard. Quite long.
Yeah, a bit long and maybe just a foot too tight to the center line as well. It's really going to block off the end turn draw, that's the problem. But as long as they keep the right-hand side open, it should be fine. Could actually come around both sides of that corner guard, so should be useful. Youngmi Kim, Korean lead. She's had a solid game, I think, so far. She's really been able to set it up well for Korea. That first on, obviously a bit deep, but the second shot in a much better spot.
Yes, her delivery line's been excellent. Always on or around the center line on those center guards.
Now I like this call from Lucia. Going to come straight around the corner guard. Not going to be fussed with the red stones. Obviously a bit easier when they're not lined up in front of the tee line, but if you want to score, you just got to put some stones in behind cover and deal with the red stones later on. So good call and good execution, I think.
Certainly partly behind that corner guard, Sander, and you see immediately that Eun Young Kim is saying, right, that's going to be a problem for us. Let's get rid of that corner guard.
Yeah, also a good call. No need to come after that yellow and potentially miss. Just play the simple shot here. Get rid of the corner guard. That's certainly the most dangerous rock in play just now for Team Korea. So Sun Young Kim, Korean lead, will peel it off and does that nicely. And you might see China replace that corner guard a few times then before making a move. So a bit of cat and mouse I'd expect here now on this end.
Good discipline there from the Koreans, sensing the danger immediately and responding to it. They're not mucking around. They're up 3.
Yu Xin Rei, second player and vice skip for Team China.
This Chinese team from the Harbin Curling Club.
Well, as I mentioned earlier on, she does tend to have a bit of a soft release, so really curling a lot more than the other girls. Another factor could also be the rock. Sometimes rocks do tend to curl a bit more than others, but they do test this in the evening practices. Usually the alternate player will come on and throw all the stones in the same straight line, same curl, and the coach will make a note of which stones that do curl more or curl less for that matter. But bit soft handle, does over curl, does expose that yellow stone in the 8th foot. So now Korea making the hit, lying 3.
By a soft handle or a soft release, we're talking about the number of times that the handle actually rotates as it's going down the ice. Usually the fewer the rotations, or a soft handle or a soft release, the more the stone will curl.
Yeah, and sometimes also just a negative motion of the release. Some players will sort of move the rock a bit out, have an outside motion when they release the rock, which will make the stone curl later. Well, it seems like Yu Xin Rei is very soft, not really doing a whole lot of a negative motion on the rock, so it starts to curl very early on her.
China with the last rock here on end number 6. 10 ends in these contests. The women are playing a double round robin here at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships. So these teams will meet each other twice in round robin play. This is the first time they've met each other. Both came into this game unbeaten. It's kind of like a Texas cage match. Two come in, one come out. Somebody will come out unbeaten and somebody won't.
Nice shot there by Kim.
There's one, there's two. Nice double takeout there.
Yeah, nice double, but again, it does leave a fairly easy double for Team Korea. So not quite managing to get the stones in the right spots. No guards in play here, so it might be hard to pick up two now for Team China.
Quite a flat double there, but it is a double. First priority for the Koreans will be to eliminate this stone on the center line. If they get the bonus of a double takeout, so be it.
Big extension there, a bit of a push to get some extra weight. It's looking fairly close.
There's one.
There we go.
Great shot. Pushes that Chinese stone off the rings, and Korea lies too. Kim. Great double takeout. So Korea is really applying the pressure to the Chinese here. China trailing by 3. They have last rock in this end. But as it stands at this moment, Korea has got it set up for the force, forcing the Chinese to take at least one, and only one. That would be a great result for the Koreans.
Lu Junli now asked to play a freeze on the back stone.
Three players brushing it, comes to rest in the front of the forefoot. So not quite the freeze, but it is lined up with the stone in the back, so it does introduce the possibility of a jam if the Koreans try to remove it. And there's no doubt that the Koreans will try to remove it. Skip stones now in the 6th end. Young Kim makes her way down to the hack to make her shot. Korean skip Young Kim in turn takeout. Not laying a brush to it.
Yeah, I thought that one went out just a tad. Oh no, she's actually hogged it.
Goodness.
See the blinking red lights does indicate that she has let the go stone too late.
So that's a hog line violation. These stones do have electronic sensors in the handles of the rock. Players must release the stone before the near hog line for the stone to be a legal delivery. And in that case, it looked to us like the stone was blinking a red light, which is why the players actually stopped the stone in progress, pulled it off. So that's a hog line violation. Quite rare, but it's certainly a rule of the game. And as a player now, the automatic electronic sensors are really trusted by the players. That was a decision that used to be made by the human eye by officials that sat at the hog line. And that was a much less precise science. But now with the electronic sensors, there's no doubt if the hand is still in contact with the handle, when the stone reaches the hog line, it's automatically detected.
Yeah, so that's a big mistake, and now Lucia and Team China might be able to make a mountain out of a molehill here.
Well, we talked about momentum shifters. Korea had all the momentum. That is the kind of thing that can change the momentum of a game. Let's see what happens.
猜一猜分一下也行。猜一猜分一下吧，分一下吧。你猜一猜，分一下，分一下。
That's not a good result. I wonder if she was trying to tap her O'Neill back onto the red one. But
well, I'd say she was certainly looking for more separation between her stones. So if she was trying the split, she was hoping to get more separation. As the stones stand now, they are pretty flat, but there is an opportunity for Eun-Young Kim to recover from that mistake of the hog line violation by making a double takeout, removing both the Chinese stones. Not an easy shot, but the shot is there.
I would disagree.
You think it's an easy shot?
It's a half rock double. It's usually the most comfortable double to play. Trying to hit half the rock. Even a third is okay, I think, for Spillingdales. So, as far as the level of these players go, I'd expect Eun-Young Kim to make this one. But again, bit of a pressure though, hogging the first one. So,
target line right down the center of the layers. They're close. It's on off. There's one. There's two. Double takeout for the Koreans.
There we go. Really nice. Keeps the shooter in play as well. So lying 3.
1, 2. Chinese stones go rocketing out of the rings. Korea lying 3. High five from her third player, Kyung-Ai Kim. And she'll be breathing a sigh of relief after hogging that first stone. Hotline violation. She can bail herself out with a great shot, and she did.
Luciano going to have to play the hit to score. Could have drawn, but it's a bit more difficult maybe. Doesn't have too much to draw into, but you want to keep the weight down here so you can control the line with the sweepers. Overthrowing this one, it's not going to really serve you any good. Gotta hit this one right on the nose. Last shot of the sextant. China looking to score the one. Sounds pretty good, and there we go.
So nice nose hit there from the Chinese to score their 1 point. So Lucia calmly steadies the ship, makes a nice nose hit, facing 3 Korean counters, but China still trails in this match. Korea is leading at 5-3 after 6 ends of play. So let's take the opportunity to update you with other scores that are happening in the matches here at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships, both the men's and the women's event in this session, morning session today. On sheet E in the men's event, it's Kazakhstan versus Korea. Korea leads that one 9-0 after 5 ends of play. On sheet C in the ladies, in the women's event, we've got Australia versus New Zealand. And Australia is edging into a comfortable lead. They scored a deuce on the 6th end in the women's event. So it's Australia 7, New Zealand 3. On sheet B, Chinese Taipei versus host nation Japan. Really tight contest here. After 5 ends of play, scores are tied at 3. And on sheet A in the men's event, China versus Australia. China has stolen yet another point. They're pitching a shutout. They're leading Australia 3-0. But we return to action here in our feature match in the women's event. Korea versus China. So now Korea with last rock and a 5-3 lead.
Pitching a shutout, would that be a baseball term?
That's absolutely a baseball term.
And baseball is quite big in Japan.
It certainly is.
Is that pitching a whole inning without a hit?
That's pitching an entire game without the opponent scoring a point.
Aha.
And in that match on sheet A, so far the Australians have not scored a point and they're halfway into the game. So yes, so far the Chinese are pitching a shutout. 4 ends yet to play in that one though, and Ian Pelangio and his Australian team will have opportunities to get on the scoreboard, and they're not out of that game yet, but China's off to a really good start.
So see a bit of a defensive call from Korea here, to drawing to the wing, and that's a typical call when you want to blank the end. And do you see any reason why Korea might be wanting to blank the 7th end?
Well, let's see. We've got 4 ends to play. They're up 2. Perhaps they feel their strategy at this point is to just keep scoring. So some teams will get to this point in the game with a 2-point lead and say, let's just keep it safe, score 1, force 1, score 1, force 1, we win the game. So it's a situation of just playing the scoreboard and employing a really conservative set of tactics to try and get you to the finish line. Other teams will make other choices. They'll say, we've got the hammer, let's go for the kill right now. Try to put 2 or 3 on the board and put the game away right now. So it's really down to the team's choices and the way that they want to approach it.
So they put 2 red stones out in the wing now, and Chinese skip Lucy out. Doesn't feel like she can ignore them anymore. Feels that it's too risky.
Yishin Ray. Chinese second, throwing the out turn.
Playing the hit and roll here, I think. But again, maybe a bit of a soft release from her second. She will overcurl, and she has done that on a number of occasions during this game. So you might have to just give her a bit more ice, meaning just move the broom, the target, over a wee bit, allowing her to curl a bit more.
Well, that's well spotted, Sander. That out turn of Yusira has definitely been moving in this game.
And this one's not going to move. That was the sort of negative motion I was talking about.
Lots of rotation on the handle as well.
Yep, and that's going to move fairly straight, which is always good for peeling guards.
Yeah, good rotation when you're peeling guards is a definite help.
It will also bounce off the rock a bit more. Now with only the 1 red stone in there, Lucy feels like throwing up a center guard. Let's see if she can control the line a bit more this time. Han Young Kim's going to call for the peel again, as we see a final result out on sheet E. Kazakhstan in the men's draw, losing out to Korea 11 shots to 0, so that would be a shutout for sure.
Korea did pitch a shutout. Nice peel there from the Koreans. Really good execution. Some teams. You're watching live coverage from the Pacific Asia Curling Championships in Karuizawa, Japan. Got curling fans joining our web streaming live from around the world. Danny Parker from the World Curling Federation advising me that we've got viewers from Mongolia. So hello in Ulaanbaatar. Glad you're joining us.
It's about 2:45 Central European time right now, so
yeah, watch a spot of curling in the afternoon. Not so bad.
no, I mean
Skiving off
at
work?
night.
Ah, yes, at night. Okay, well then, true curling fanatics.
I'd be up.
That's true. In Ulaanbaatar, I guess this would be a breakfast game.
So this guard now didn't quite curl enough. It's fairly long, so Han Young Kim feels like this is a good chance to remove the yellow stone in the top of the 8, and certainly putting a lot of trust in her third, Keong-ai Kim. She's been making some really good shots so far in the game. I remember she made a very similar shot like this through a port coming down the side. So this should be easy for her compared to that shot she made earlier in the game.
By the guard.
Looking really good. There we go. No problems at all. those soft weight shots is really her forte, it seems.
Well, Kyung-Ae Kim, of course, has experience as a skip. She skipped the Korean women's team to a silver medal in the World Junior Curling Championships. So even though she's playing at the third position in this competition, she's certainly accustomed to throwing the big pressure shots with confidence. Nose hit there from the Chinese. So it's the 7th end of play. Korea is up 2. They're leading at 5-3. They've got last rock here in the 7th. Looking to at least score. They'd love to get a deuce. Open up a gap as we head for the end game. Yes, no means it's close to something good. A little undecided whether they were going to go for the roll. They were calling the sweeping on and off all the way down the ice. Good result. Good separation between those two stones, but an opportunity for the Chinese perhaps to hit and roll behind that guard.
And the good thing though is if they roll just a tad too far and underneath the red one, it's going to be a very short run back for An Young Kim. So this one it's going to have to be really precise to force the issue. Such a long guard too, so really need to be fully buried. They have had a few troubles down this line, Team China. Over curling, not curling enough.
Again, yes, no. Nose hit. China would have been looking for an inside roll there. So the stone's wide open for An Young Kim.
I think I'd be tempted to play the long roll here. Try and roll all the way over to the left-hand side. I think nose hit might set up a double. A potential double and stick in behind the guard, so I've got to be a little bit careful where she ends up with the shooter here. Maybe rolling a half stone inside is also pretty decent.
Looks like a nice control weight.
Does get the half stone roll.
Small roll.
Which is good for the double off the left hand side as we saw it, or the right hand side as we see it now. But I wonder if it's possible to make the double the other way, the center line side.
That's definitely what Liu Xia is looking at. Hitting the stone on the center line, kicking it to the right, jamming against the other Korean stone, which would leave her buried behind her own center guard.
Yeah, that was the risk of playing the shot that way.
You see the angle of those stones, but it does definitely look there. Only question might be if she slides behind the second stone, if she hits it too thin, but if she hits half a rock, she can make the double takeout and be fully buried behind the guard.
Even just making the roll in beside the red might be good here. If she's shot rock, could be difficult for An Young Kim to score two that way. Definitely gonna have to catch the inside.
Sweepers aren't laying a brush to it. There's the hit, there's the roll. Nice stone there.
Yep.
Just shot rock, so that's a great result for China. Didn't make the double, but got the job done. We can see there the Chinese stone is right behind that guard, perfectly protected, leaving Korea no option but to draw for their one. So a small moral victory for Team China there. They're forcing Korea to take a single point with the hammer. And of course, have to make the shot yet. So China's trying to claw their way back into this match, and a force would be one step, and then of course they're going to have to score 2 or 3 with the hammer in the next end.
Well, remember in the 5th end, she did miss a draw coming down here, as well as Lucia. So I'm not sure if it's just a tiny bit slower coming down here, or if it's curling a bit more. But
Sweepers are onto it immediately.
no guards in the way this time, though. Last shot of the 7th end, looking to increase the lead to 6-3.
Sweepers are a bit worried about the weight. Right out of hand, they were sweeping that one.
I think they're under control now, though. This one will slide into the 8-foot, so that's really well swept by the girls.
Sun Young Kim, Young Mi Kim taking charge of that one, sweeping it coast to coast for a 1. So after 7 ends of play, it's Korea 6, China 3. Well, there we see why curling is a team game. Last rock draw from Eun Young Kim. We saw the stopwatches in the hands of the front end players, Sun Young Kim and Young Mi Kim. They recognized right out of hand that that stone was a bit light. They jumped on it immediately. Without question, taking ownership of that rock, they swept it all the way down. 1 point for Korea. So updating our other games here at the Pacific Asia Curling Championship. As Sander mentioned, in the men's event, Korea defeated Kazakhstan 11-0. In the women's event on sheet C, the game between Australia and New Zealand, Australia has stolen another 2 points, and they've got a comfortable 9-3 lead after 7 ends of play. In the men's event, a really close game on sheet B between host nation Japan and Chinese Taipei. Japan has edged in front. They hold a 4-3 lead after 6 ends of play, but Chinese Taipei does have last rock in the 7th. And on sheet A, China's pitching shutout has been broken. Australia scored 2 points. They're back in the game, so China leads that one 3-2. But we return to action now in our feature match. In the women's event, Korea versus China. Korea with a 6-3 lead. They're playing in the 8th end. China's got last rock. Korea throws their first stone into the rings, a defensive shot. Here's Chinese lead Wang Rei. No doubt that China will be throwing up some guards and trying to generate some offense in this end, Sander.
Yep. Trailing now, need these corner guards in play. Another team effort here to bring this one a bit closer to the house. That's going to end up in a decent spot. So basically got to try and score 2. Force Korea and then score 2 again in the 10th to tie it up. And then steal in the extra. But, of course, always have the chance of scoring 3 or 4. But that could prove difficult against a strong side as Korea. Everything can happen in curling.
Well, you're right, Sander. That's definitely the game plan for the Chinese. Score multiple end this end. Go for a force or a steal in the 9th. And then attack in the 10th with last rock if you've forced.
Now we see the Redstones in a bit of a better spot this time around than in the 6th end. So China's going to decide to play a hit rather than just come around straight around the corner guard like they did in the 6th end. But, well, I was just going to say this is the problem, as I thought she was going to tick on the tough stone and roll out, but just enough to stay put.
Nice shot there by Wang Rei, ably assisted by her sweepers.
Actually rolls in behind the red there. Didn't think that was even possible.
Well, it's a great result. And we mentioned that Korean lead Young Mi Kim is having a strong game. She did line those guards up really well, but a great shot there by Wang Rei. Sun Young Kim, Korean second, looking to run her own stone back onto the Chinese shot. Nothing to it. This is an easy game.
That's such a good shot. And it's always funny when you don't use the sweepers. Just clean,
Nothing to it.
clean, no
Yep.
problems.
Okay, bang, bang. Nothing to it.
That's really good.
Sun Young Kim has also had a really solid game. Peeling guards like clockwork, and then just routine 6 foot straight back on the nose. No problem.
拍一下吧，拍一下，全力加
So for every shot China makes here, it's really important to keep the shooter in play. If they ever roll out in anything, you'll see Korea jump up, peel off the corner, and then the end is pretty much dead. So again, this is not too bad. We're going to leave 2 guards in play.
And again, we see the discipline of the Korean skip Sun Young Kim. Immediately saying, 2 guards now, not good. Let's get rid of one of them at least. So once again, the peeling machine, Sun Young Kim, does a great job running that guard. It is such a wonderful thing for a team and for a skip with a lead to have front end players that can consistently hit half a rock and peel and remove guards. Nothing kills momentum like somebody trying to peel a guard and nosing it or blowing it by. Hitting a half a rock consistently time after time is a real skill. And Sun Young Kim is giving us a great demonstration today of talent, the ability to peel rocks.
加油擦一擦，路线没问题，确保先拉开，全力加油擦一擦。
China trying to use their guard. Just edging into the 12 foot. China with the hammer here in the 8th. They trail by 3. They must score. See Korean third, Kyung-ai Kim, being asked to remove the front stone. Some danger here of a jam on her own shot.
Could be a match-winning shot right here, actually, to really kill off the end.
1, 2.
There we go.
Fantastic. What a display of shooting we're getting today from this Korean team.
粘一个就行。
1, 2. There they go.
Yeah, really good shot. Now the end is pretty much over for Team China.
Nowhere to hide.
Well, they could draw around the red stone here. I'd definitely go for that. It seems like they've called for the freeze, and I have to be honest, a freeze in at this day and age is not really going to help you. You're going to have to be so perfect for it to even do anything for you. Because if you're just slightly off nose, you know Korea's just going to blast it off. So I think drawing around here would be a better option.
Stone comes up a little bit short for Lu Jinli. Attempting the freeze, but comes to rest in the 12 foot. Korea, however, with the 3-point lead, looking to remove that. Again, great sweeping from the Korean team. Nicely done. Rolling out themselves. So again, China with not much to work with here.
给你收了一点点啊。
No guards. Only one rock in play, that Korean shot rock. Just biting the 4 foot. Lu Jinli.
线路还靠外啊，力量。哇，这放线，放线，放线。
没有
哦，
去啊，
人带旋过来呢。
拍一下，
带他
Option B now, maybe drawing around it. Super's calling this one a bit heavy, so going to come around, and I'd say this is a much better option altogether.
Sweeping to the back of the button, half around that stone into the front of the 8-foot. Nice result there for China, but a short run back here for the Koreans to eliminate that stone. Nice shot, though. It's the best they could absolutely do with the situation they were facing.
Still, it was a call for the freeze, and found that a bit weird. There's about 6 feet behind that red, so you can draw all the way down to the back of the 12.
China's in a situation where they have to generate offense any way they can. Got a 4-foot run back here for Korean skip Hoon Kim. Yes, no means they're close. And again, a perfect run back from Team Korea. They are putting on a show today. Here we see on the replay, straight back, eliminating the Chinese stone. Line 2. China's going to be hard pressed to score more than one in this end. Really enjoying some top-class shot making in today's game. Lucia asking for the broom to be tightened slightly.
Now the freeze makes a bit more sense. If they make it, Korea will probably blast it off and roll out, allowing China to blank the end. Really don't want to be forced here. Looking pretty close. And that's a really good shot.
Really nice stone from Chinese skip Lucia. Freezing the Korean stone. Not perfectly welded. We see from our overhead shot, it's just over curled a fraction. Korea is shot, but we can see that Korean skip Hoon Kim is intending to hit the Chinese stone on the high side. She'll lose her own shot rock, but she really just wants to remove this Chinese stone. So she'll be looking to hit maybe a quarter of it or less with weight. No line yet. Again, perfect execution from Team Korea. Great shot. Lucia did all she could by trying to freeze that stone, but Hoon Kim calmly removes it. And now Team China is left with no option but to remove the Korean counter. Some decision here, you might consider blanking and trying to score 2 in the 9th and steal the 10th. So there is an option here. It's not necessarily mandatory for China to score. You might consider blanking. Last stone of the 8th end.
Definitely trying to blank here. But that's not going to pan out.
Well, it's a nose hit for China, so Korea gets the force. China scores 1. But Korea is in control of this match. After 8 ends of play, it's Korea 6, China 4. And Korea will enjoy the advantage of last rock in the 9th, penultimate end. So while we have an opportunity between ends, let's quickly update you on the results of some of the other matches. As we mentioned, Korea defeated Kazakhstan 11-0 in the men's event. Play is now in end number 9 in the women's match between Australia and New Zealand. The Kiwis have put a deuce on the board, but they trail. Australia leads that one 9-5. A really intriguing match between host Japan and Chinese Taipei in the men's event. On sheet B, play there is in end number 8. Japan's leading that one 4-3.
But Chinese Taipei is lying 3 in the forfeit behind cover. So
Chinese Taipei does have a bundle there, so the pressure will definitely be on Japanese skip Morizumi. And in our other match in the men's event, China versus Australia. China responded to the Australian deuce with a deuce of their own. Play there is in the 9th end. China's leading that one 5-2. So now the only formula for victory for China is steal, steal, steal. So they start this end with a center guard. In curling, if the match is tied after 10 ends of play, there's an extra end. Korea, on the other hand, with last rock, will simply be looking to score. 2 points would be a bonus, but scoring is really what they're just trying to do. So we see the tactical choice of electing to draw away from the center guard over to the rings on the side. Nice job there from Chinese lead Wang Rei, stacking the center guards.
yeah, it's a perfect lead play. It's so hard to make those shots under pressure. You have to have the separation. It's always throwing that second rock. You're looking to bring it right off, just right across the hog line. And it's, you know, sometimes you pull up short and the stone's taken away, and some leads can't really handle the pressure and throws it way too deep, allowing a very easy double for their opponent later on. So, really nice setup, and now we're going to see the tick shot, soft peel. Obviously not allowed to remove the stone from play, but you can move it, neutralize the guard.
You see Team China trying to sweep that stone to the barrier, but they're not going to be able to do that.
This is a really amazing lead play in this end. 4 perfect shots being made.
Yep, if you're scoring this one at home, you'd probably give that one 5 out of 4. That was a great shot.
I think scoring overall in this game has been pretty high.
We've seen real quality from both teams and some exceptional shooting under pressure at key moments, particularly from Team Korea, but the Chinese have played really well as well.
Yeah, I think teams should really look out if these teams were to participate in the World Championships.
Well, of course, the World Women's Championships this year are being held in the Pacific Asia region. They will be in Sapporo, Japan. So in that sense, the Pacific Asia representatives will be in the home region, if not necessarily in the home country. And you're absolutely right, Sander. I would say this quality of play compares with anybody in the world. Once again, Sun Young Kim, perfect execution with the peel. She's had an outstanding game. But really, as you said, Sander, right up and down the Korean lineup, every player has had a really solid game. China patiently stacking the guards. They know that their formula to victory relies on their ability to steal this end. again, Korea looking to peel that stone. Nice guard there by the Chinese because there is a bit of danger of a jam on the corner guard this time. Once again, clockwork execution. Sun Young Kim. Job done again for another end. 2 shots, 2 peels. Perfect. Lu Jin Lee looking to replace that guard.
一区就行，一区就行。哦。OK 啊。
Which she does. Nice stone. The angles are slightly different this time, so Sun Young Kim takes a little bit longer lining them up. Perhaps wondering if she could make a double clear this time. Kyung-Ai Kim, Korean third. There's one, there's two, there's the double clear, but it jams.
A little bit unlucky there, but at least does open the center line. That's the most important thing, really.
So indeed, the Koreans were looking for the double clear, which they did, but the Chinese stone jams on their own rock. But first task done for the Koreans. The front of the house is now wide open. No Chinese guards there at all. 8-foot circle wide open for themselves.
Now Lucy, just a bit worried about putting up the center guard, knowing that Korea will probably try and slash down on towards the Yellowstone to the left-hand side. So gonna try and play this guard just a bit closer to the left, make the angle a bit harder for the Koreans. Certainly the thicker the Koreans have to hit the first stone, the more possibility of that shooter staying behind as a guard. So
play in the 9th end. It's 10-end contest. Korea 6, China 4.
Did decide that slash double isn't too much of a risk. Rather have a guard in a good spot, and with this being so high as well, again you have to hit this first one fairly thick to get the second one, and it shouldn't really be your biggest concern.
So we see Sun Young Kim looking to hit this stone in such a way that it directs towards the shot rock, so she's trying to clear the guard as well as kill the shot.
I think I'm in a little bit of a disagreement playing this way, because you might jam onto the guard outside the house and spin this yellow one back into the house.
There's a bit of risk.
All of a sudden they might be lying 2 here, China. That's the one I was talking about. So I think the safer way to play that shot is just peel it the other way. But again, just a very confident team.
Yeah, they certainly don't step back from a challenge, do they, Sandu? They really go for it. Korea with the last rock here on the 9th. Chinese skip Lucia taking care to clean the running surface of her stone before the shot. Tiny little speed wobble there, but clean release.
停到上面就行了。
Collecting the center guard, trying to set one up for her last one.
那我这80、70也够点呛啊。
Once again, Young Kim immediately looking at the angle that could eliminate the Chinese shot rock, trying to clear the guard as well as kill the shot. Senator Rolvog did mention there is some danger in this. Hit it too thin, you could drive it onto the corner guard and spin the shot onto the rings and be looking at 2.
This time
as we said, there's no shortage of confidence from this Korean team.
well, the center guard is a bit closer to the house now, so we'll have to catch it fairly thin to jam it. So a bit less risky this time, but still. Should be pretty close, this one. Oh, there we go.
Only a 15-foot angle double, nothing to it.
That's
Unbelievable display of shooting from this Korean team today.
yeah, superb execution from Won Young Kim.
Look at this.
Yeah. Wow.
I'll tell you folks, if you're watching this at home, this team is making it look pretty easy. I can assure you that what they're doing is not easy. They are making some spectacular, delicious, delectable shots today. You're getting a real treat.
6连。
So China left with no option but to draw one around that red corner guard to try and force a steal, or make it at least a little bit more difficult for Korea to score their point.
那能够中线。OK。6连是吧？
中线。
稍微引到角有点线，被线稍微给的有点小。
Korea would be pretty content just to score on this end, carry a 3-point lead into the 10th.
右切，上一站，
不行不行，
下楼。
Yushin Rai, Wang Rai on the brushes.
不行，线都靠外。
往后擦一下呢，
哇，
量
量大吧？
再擦，
出不去的，
往后擦一下，擦一下，再擦一下，往后，擦一下。
Sweeping it deep into the rings. China lies 1, but the full 8-foot is available to the Koreans. It's a nice draw there from Lucia, doing all she can do to try and steal this end. Some discussion between the players about the weight. Last stone of end number 9. Korea trying to draw for their point. They need the full 8-foot, or at least just a piece of the 8-foot.
Seems like the sweepers are quite content with this one. So just some control sweeping down into the forfeit. Really nice draw. And Team Korea really looking in control now, scoring 1. That's going to be 7 shots to 4, favor Korea. And China's going to have to pull out some magic in the 10th end if they want to turn this around.
I am so impressed with this Korean team. They have played this match nearly flawlessly. Their execution's been tremendous, and they are full credit for their 3-point lead at this point of the game. Still one end to play. Let's quickly update you with some of the scores in the other matches here at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships. Got a really interesting game brewing on Sheet C. Australia versus New Zealand in the women's event. The Kiwis stole 3 points on the 9th end, and so Australia is now clinging to a narrow 9-8 lead, and they're playing the 10th and final end. On Sheet B in the men's event, Japan versus Taipei. We mentioned how Chinese Taipei had 3 stones guarded well. The Japanese really turned that around. Some fantastic big weight takeouts from the Japanese, and they scored 2. So the Japan's leading that one 6-3. They're playing in the 9th. And in our other game, The men's event, China versus Australia. China is holding a 5-3 lead, playing the 10th and final end. But we return to the 10th end of our feature match, Korea-China. A tall mountain for the Chinese to climb. They must score 3 to tie this game up.
At least today there's no problems with time. Both teams having both 11 and 13 minutes left on the clock here, so that shouldn't be a factor.
Trying to get this stone across the hog line and into play.
She has been short on a few corner guards, Wang Rui, so needs to pick up a bit speed. Korea's not going to mess about too much, just going to throw this one through, which might seem weird to some newer viewers, but really when you're up 3 you don't want to keep any stones around. The more stones in play, the more complicated things get, and Team China can really take advantage of any Korean stones in play, so you want to keep everything just neat and tidy.
China putting a corner guard on the other side of the sheet. And now that the free guard zone phase of the end is complete, Korea can begin peeling these guards. Sun Young Kim.
Oh,
Yeah, the first mistake that we've seen from Kim today. There's a nose hit, so small bit of encouragement for China. They now have 2 corner guards they can use.
well, that's the first step towards scoring 3 for sure. Now, I'm a bit surprised why they're drawing around the yellow stone. The rule is always to draw around the worst guard first, and then you'll see them peel that off. Then you come around the best guard. And you'd probably see Korea hit the open stone, then you come around the best guard once more. With 2 stones in behind cover, that's how you score 3. But a good draw can still set that up for Team China.
Yu Xinrui trying to deliver that stone.
She's curled plenty on her out turn so far. Now just looking to catch a bit of finish on her in turn as well. I don't think that's fully buried.
You see Yu Xinrui looking at her handiwork. Maybe a corner hidden, but certainly visible from the hack. Bit of a teaser though. Some teams can fall into the trap of chasing the stone into the house and forgetting about the guards. And we can see some indecision among the Korean team. They're discussing the options. Do we hit the shooter or do we clear the guard?
I think they are going after the stone in the house here. And again, tolerance here is to clip the guard. Don't fly straight through without hitting anything yellow.
Yes, 2 to choose from rather, for Sun Young Kim. They are hitting the guard.
That's fine.
Good result there for Korea. Yu Xinrui trying the out turn, come around. Joins her teammate. She thinks she's light.
非常好。
全力加，他全力，全力加，他。
OK， 故事 AP。
Ray congratulates her teammates and thanks them for the help of sweeping. They are tucked in there behind that corner guard. Nicely done. Test of patience now for the Koreans. If you go by the playbook, you say you run the corner guard. Eliminate the danger. The other play is to eliminate the stone in the open. Recognizing that China has to score 3 and Korea has called timeout. And let's listen in to their conversation with their coach, Patty Withrich.
It's your choice. You can play the peel, which I like because there's a double there.
제 생각에는 필이 더 나을 것 같긴 한데 일단 만약에 치고 세우면 상대가 이걸 치고 나면 들어올 수도 있더라고요. 그래서 가드를 치우고 나면
Coach Withrich is giving them options.
So if you play the peel, next time you have a chance for a double or a hit. Okay?
So nice coaching there from Patty Withrich. Giving the player options. Quite clearly as a coach, she was favoring the removal of that corner guard. Saying that if they remove the guard now, they have a chance for a double takeout on those 2 Chinese stones later in the end.
Well, I'd probably see China put the corner guard up again though, so I'm not sure if that shot's going to be available, but I do agree peeling the corner guard here. And there is the option of you might being able to run that corner guard down onto the yellow stone on the other side of the house.
Each team has 1 timeout in the game where they can call their coach onto the field of play and take some advice. Nice shot. Kyung-Hye Kim, after that deliberation, gets the job done, removes the guard. But now China lying 2. Remember, China has to score 3 to tie this game up. 2 of them are there. China looking to replace that guard. Comes to rest. And this time, no indecision at all from Eun-Young Kim. Looking to peel this guard. Kyung-Hye Kim on the in-turn. And if the angles are good, she might remove one of the shots in the rings as well. There's one. Has she killed another? Will it go out of the rings?
Wow.
A great result for Korea.
That's a match-winning shot right there.
That is definitely a top 10 candidate. We saw the corner guard watch the action long across the house, kills the shot rock, squirts out of the rings. And you might close the gate on the barn. That could be the match winner for Korea. Terrific shot.
Yeah, I can't quite see how China's going to score 3 now. You're going to have to see some big mistakes from Korean skip Eun-Young Kim, and with her being so solid in this game, can't really see that happen. But she did hog a rock, so again, anything can happen.
Yeah, China's going to need some help for a victory to happen now, that's for sure. They have to score 3. They've only got 2 left to throw. Both of those stones are going to have to remain in the rings. Eun-Young Kim looking to remove that corner guard, which would leave her just an open hit for the win. Eun-Young Kim. Kyung-Ai Kim immediately says, whoa, they're a bit worried about the line on this one. No, nothing to worry about there. Perfect shot. So now China has nowhere to hide. They need both of their remaining counters to remain in the rings. No protection of a guard. In this situation, I always favored freezing it right on top of your own. Really, your only hope is for a complete miss on a hit attempt. So personally, I always preferred fewer targets and making it as narrow as you possibly could. But there are no good options for the Chinese here.
Still drawing the other open wing is not going to leave them a big target, though. You'd think if you missed the one, you're not going to miss by 10 feet and catch the other. So I see a lot of teams do that, but of course, playing the freeze or maybe just a foot in front can help you somewhat, but it's just going to be down to a complete miss from Eun-Young Kim. Either way you play this.
Lucia. She must be in the house with this one. They can't be short. No, they're leaving it short, so they're saying, okay, we'll split that one. Interesting choice. But no indecision at all for Team Korea. Open hit for the win.
Last shot for Eun-Young Kim. In this end, probably the last shot of the game. This is going to hit the yellow and run China out of stones. And that's a very solid win for Team Korea. Really impressive display. Made so many good shots. A few ones for the highlight reel as well. And you've got to say they might be favourites now after watching that.
I definitely agree, Sender. That was a really impressive, comprehensive display from Team Korea. We see there the final result. Korea taking this one out 7-4. So now Korea remains the only unbeaten team in the women's event. They go to 4 wins and no losses. China suffering their first loss. But yes, I agree. A really impressive display from Team Korea today. Quickly updating some of the other scores. Last rock of the game is in motion now in the women's game, Australia versus New Zealand. Australian skip Kim Forge attempting to draw for the win.
Looking pretty good.
And she looks to have the right weight, and so it looks like a victory for Team Australia. That's their first win of the tournament, so congratulations to the Australian team. Kim Forge making a nice draw there, so a win for Team Australia. In the men's event, Japan versus Chinese Taipei. Team Japan's holding a 6-4 lead, playing the 10th end, and China defeated Australia in the other men's event by a score of 5-3. There we see our final in our feature match. Korea 7, China 4. Highlights from today's highlight-filled game here in the first end. Eun-Young Kim with the takeout. Trying to blank. Off to a bit of a slow start. There was the force. But Korea took the early lead. On the third end of play, Lucia gentle shot removes the Korean stone. A nice deuce for China. That would have been the last time that they led in this match in the fourth end. Here's one for the highlight reel. Angle raise takeout. Eun-Young Kim, 1, 2, 3 Korean stones. Sensational shot. Gave Korea a 4-2 lead and all the momentum in this game. In the fifth end, look at the forest of rocks here. Really difficult shot for Liu Xia. Wrecking on the front guards and a big steal of 1 for Korea. Korea holding a 5-2 lead at the fifth end break. In the sixth, more great precision shooting from the Koreans. Eun-Young Kim. Bang, bang, double takeout. Korea again lying to. Korea definitely on a roll. Chinese skip Liu Xia keeping her team in the game with a nose hit to score 1. At this point, the Chinese were looking to claw their way back into the game. In the seventh, Korean skip Eun-Young Kim showing she's not just a hitter, she can draw under pressure as well. Drawing for 1. In the eighth, China with few options, trying to blank but nosing it instead, taking 1 point. In the ninth, Eun-Young Kim again. Had the 8 foot to draw to, throws it right onto the tee. Korea with a solid 3-point control lead and going into the 10th end. And here, from every Korean player, we saw fantastic clearing. Watch this from Kyung-ai Kim. Across the house, kills the shooter, rolls it out. Nowhere left to hide for China. And Korea takes this one out with a comprehensive victory, 7-4. So we hope you've enjoyed our live coverage from the Pacific Asia Curling Championships here on day 3 from Karuizawa, Japan. Please join us again later today for a men's draw. We'll have Australia versus New Zealand. For my colleague Sander Rolvag, I'm Hans Frauenlob. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye from Karuizawa.